What's up guys, it's TV here. Today I have a quick video for you about sharpness. I decided to make this video because I'm in the process of switching from greatsword to dual blades. And with the greatsword, worrying about your sharpness is pretty much the last thing that you need to do. But with dual blades, it is crucial that you pay attention to your sharpness bar. So I think I came up with some good tips for this video, so make sure to stick around. Alright, so let's jump into the sharpness stats. So here's all the levels of sharpness in Monster Hunter World. We've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and white. Now in past Monster Hunter games, there has been one level sharper than white, and that is purple sharpness. But as of right now, that is not in Monster Hunter World. Alright, so let's look at this board. At first glance, it's pretty simple. The sharper you are, the more damage you're going to be doing. But upon closer inspection, this board can give you a lot of good information about when is the optimal time to sharpen. And let me walk you through that. So obviously, red and orange, sharpen your weapon. There is almost no reason for your weapon to get this dull, unless you're just starting out and using a really low sharpness weapon. Now when we start looking at green and yellow sharpness, that's when things get a little bit more interesting. So as you can see here, when you have a weapon with green sharpness, it does 1.05% its normal damage. And when you have a weapon with yellow sharpness, it does its normal damage. So there is only a 0.05% increase in the amount of damage that you do with green sharpness over yellow sharpness. So if you're using a weapon that doesn't benefit fully from elemental damage, like the great sword or the hammer, I would actually not recommend stopping and sharpening your green sharpness weapon when it falls down to yellow sharpness. But if you are using a weapon that benefits from elemental damage, like the dual blades or the insect glaive, as you can see here, there's a 25% discrepancy between these two sharpnesses when it comes to elemental damage. So in this case, I would recommend sharpening. It all depends on the weapon that you're using. And you can look at blue and white sharpness just about the same way. White sharpness is good to have, but blue sharpness is just about the same. So I wouldn't specifically worry about sharpening a white weapon when it turns blue, but when that same weapon turns green, there's a 20% damage buff waiting for you, so I would definitely sharpen. Knowing little things like this can really optimize your gameplay. Alright, so now let's talk about sharpness cost. So for the majority of weapons, these two numbers right here are the only two numbers that you'll need. A normal attack will cost 1 sharpness, and a bounce attack will cost 2 sharpness. So basically, try to avoid bouncing as much as possible. But for the players using the greatsword, the charge blade, or the gun lance, there's a few more numbers that you need to know. So when guarding with a greatsword or a charge blade, when you get knocked back, that will cost sharpness. A small knockback will be 1, a medium knockback will be 2, and a large knockback will be 10. So if you decide to deal with Negigante's dive bomb by guarding, your sharpness is going to pay the price. As you can see here, when I'm fighting Negigante, I have a full blue sharpness weapon, and I guard for his dive bomb attack, and it takes away half of my sharpness bar. So keep that in mind when fighting monsters that have large knockbacks like this. Now we're going to talk about the relationship between sharpness and bouncing. So basically, the sharper your weapon is, the less likely it is to bounce. I'll demonstrate that with this barrel. As you can see, I take a full blue sharpness weapon and hit this barrel in the training area and it bounces off. And then I take a weapon with white sharpness and it cuts right through. Now as far as I know, you can never turn a white number into an orange number or a normal hit into a critical hit with sharpness alone. The only way you can get the orange critical hits is by hitting a weak point. But like I said, you can negate bounces with sharpness. Alright, and the last thing that I'm going to talk about in this video is sharpness modifying attacks. Basically, the stronger your attack, the sharper your weapon acts. As you can see here, I stand and do a normal attack on this barrel, and I bounce off, and then I do a power attack on it, and it cuts right through. This is just one example of an attack modifying your sharpness. There are a ton of attacks like this in the game, so if you're having a hard time with Baroth or any other armored type monster, just do a more powerful attack. Alright, so that's all I have on sharpness. I hope everybody enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and consider subscribing. It really helps out my small channel. Also, consider following me on Twitter. It's the best place for me to keep in contact with you guys. Anyway, this has been TV. Thanks for watching, guys.